Kentucky, like the rest of the country, has some serious issues with overall achievement and achievement gaps. So what's Kentucky going to do? This is where it's instructive to look at what other folks have done, I think. In 1998, this black bar here, that was Massachusetts in grade 4 reading on the National Assessment of Educational Progress. And that's where they were in 2007, all the way at the top. Now, you know, they were no slouches in 2000, but in 2000, this is where they were in 8th grade math, and this is where they were in 2007. So they made enormous improvements. In fact, Massachusetts participated in the last International Math Science Study. So this is, you know, when people say, well, our 4th graders don't know math as well as Japanese 4th graders, and they don't know science as well as Kazakhstani, you know, 8th graders. It's from this study, the International Math Science Study. Massachusetts paid to participate as if it were a country, and if the entire country performed the way Massachusetts does, we still wouldn't be in Singapore's league, but we would be up with the big boys, Japan, Hong Kong, Taiwan, which is something, and no other state can say it. So what does Massachusetts have that Kentucky doesn't have? I actually think Kentucky's been at this a long time. You guys have a lot going for you, and you're about to raise your standards and work on making them college-ready standards, college and work-ready. I suspect that if you stick to that and you have the assessments and the reporting systems that you know you need, you've already established you know you need them, you're gonna give Massachusetts a run for their money, I suspect. For the rest of my talk, I'm going to focus on how Kentucky can make that happen. But I just want to mention that you could probably use some more money. And all the states can use some more money, but Kentucky can, certainly. And here I'm going to, this is not my field of, school finance is not my school, my area of expertise, but a poor child in Massachusetts receives more federal aid than a poor child in Kentucky. And to me, that's a little shocking, and I hope it's shocking to you guys. The states that get the most in federal Title I money are Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, and Maryland. The most per child. And this has to do with very difficult to understand arcane formulas. Most federal money goes out by formula. Most of the time it just goes per population or per affected population, whatever it is. But with Title I, which is the primary federal source of money for schools, they didn't want to encourage states to stop spending on schools, so they put in some complicated formulas that encouraged effort. Without meaning to, unintentionally, they actually tended to reward wealthier states. And so what has happened is it's become rather distorted. So Kentucky receives in the area of $1,503 or something per low-income child, whereas the average of these other states is about $2,013 per low-income child. So if you if you multiply that out, that's almost $75 million, which even in this day and age, is approaching real money. And the Education Trust is starting a campaign, and as of next month, it's going to have a website. You can't find it now. I'm giving you new news. It's going to have a campaign starting next month, and they're kind of trying to rile people up a little bit and trying to make people aware that there is this discrepancy, this inequity in federal funding. So, as I say, that's not really my area of expertise, but there are people at the Education Trust for whom this is their area of expertise, and in about a month you'll be able to get a lot more information on the website. So even as Kentucky citizens should be working to get more resources to the schools, its educators still have a great deal of control of what goes on in their schools. And to understand what I mean, let's look at a few of the schools I have found in researching my books. So this is Capitol View Elementary. I hope everybody can see. This is a school in Atlanta, southwest Atlanta. It's almost all African American, it's almost all low income. And it's not a very large school. It's got kindergarten through grade 5. And this is their achievement. They're basically at 100% across all grades. And in grade 3 reading, for example, you see this top bar, that's exceeds standards. That's compared to this top bar for all of Georgia. These guys really know what they're doing. This is in 5th grade math. Again, this is exceeds standards compared to Georgia. Georgia does not have the highest standards, so they're looking to increase their exceed standards every year. Nobody doesn't meet standards. All the kids meet the standards, but about half exceed them. This is a school in Falls Church, Virginia. This is part of the Fairfax County system. It's a very wealthy system. It prides itself. It is nationally known for its excellence. It has huge achievement gaps. Its African American kids often do worse than African American kids in Richmond, Norfolk, and some of the big districts around the state, much less wealthy districts around the state. It has a big fairly new immigrant population. It's in Northern Virginia. About 80% of the kids speak another language other than English at home at this school. It's about 80% low income. And here you see the green bars are Graham Road Elementary and the red bars are the rest of Virginia. So you see they've eliminated the achievement gap. This is in grade 6 math and grade 6 English reading. This is extraordinary for a school where 80% of the kids speak another language other than English at home. To get this kind of result is really quite extraordinary. Here's a school, PS 124 in Queens. It's a little more than a third African American, a third Asian. The Asians are very new immigrants from India and Pakistan. The rest are Latino. 86% are low income. 80% qualify for free lunch, which is very low income. Let's see. If you look at its scores, its student achievement data, it is achieving at levels that in New York are usually achieved only by the wealthiest schools. So it is getting just about everybody. New York has pretty tough standards. African American, 82% of African Americans, 83% of Asians, and so forth. They've pretty much gotten rid of the achievement gap. And here are their results in grade 4 math. Again, very, very tiny achievement gaps. Really not worth even mentioning.